All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're digging into a hidden skill, one that scientists now believe could be a massive piece of the puzzle for being successful in math. And now this isn't about memorizing your times tables. It's something much, much more fundamental. So let's get into it.
You've seen it, right? It's a question that drives parents and teachers everywhere a little crazy. How is it that for some kids, math just clicks? It's a breeze. But for others, it feels like a constant battle every single day. Well, what if the answer isn't really about numbers at all? What if it's about a totally different kind of mental muscle?
So scientists have been zeroing in on this one prime suspect. It's a skill called inhibitory control. You can think of it as the CEO of your brain, or maybe like your brain's stop and think muscle. It's the thing that helps you tune out all the noise and resist those first tempting impulses. Now you think, okay, that has to be linked to math, right? But here's the crazy part. For years, the science on this was a complete mess.
And that led to this genuine scientific standoff. I'm serious. For years, researchers were just going back and forth, completely gridlocked, and just could not agree on whether this skill truly mattered for math or not.
And this quote from the big new review we're looking at today, it just nails the problem. It says the evidence was controversial because some studies found, well, nothing, a null correlation, which is just a scientific way of saying they found absolutely no connection. Zip. So just picture this. You have the scientific community split right down the middle. One camp is over here saying, yes, absolutely, this skill is critical for math, and here's our evidence. And the other camp is over there saying, nope, sorry, we looked and there's nothing there. It was a real puzzle. I mean, how could both be right?
So to finally break this tie, to get a real answer, researchers knew they needed to go big. They launched a massive, new kind of study, one that was designed specifically to cut through all that confusion and deliver a final, definitive answer.
And the tool they used is something called a meta-analysis, which is incredibly powerful. See, instead of just doing one more small experiment, a meta-analysis basically vacuums up all the data from all the other high-quality studies that have already been done. It's a study of studies, and it gives you this huge, much more reliable bird's-eye view of the truth.
And when I say this was big, I mean, just look at the scale of this thing. They pulled together the results from 86 different studies.
And within those studies, they analyzed 241 separate measurements of this link between inhibitory control and math.
And all told, the final analysis included data from, get this, over 14,000 children. Now that is the kind of statistical power you need to finally settle a scientific debate.
So after all that work, after crunching all those numbers, what was the big reveal? What did this massive investigation finally find?
The verdict was in, and it was decisive. Yes, a definite positive link exists between inhibitory control and math ability. The better you are at one, the better you tend to be at the other. The debate was finally over. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty for just a second. The number they found was a correlation of 0.19. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds kind of small, but in a field as complex as human learning, where there are hundreds of factors at play, that number is actually really meaningful. It shows a small but very real and consistent relationship. It's not just random chance, it's there.
But hold on, this is where it gets really, really interesting, because the researchers didn't stop there. They dug deeper. They asked a brilliant question, is all inhibition the same, or does one specific type of it matter more for math?
And it turns out there are two different flavors of this skill. So first, on one hand, you've got interference inhibition. That's your brain's ability to tune out distractions and filter out the noise. And look at that. Its link to math is stronger at 0.21. Then, on the other hand, there's response inhibition. That's more about just stopping yourself from doing an action, like blurting out an answer. And you can see the link there is a little bit weaker. And right there, that is the big aha moment from this whole study. The really crucial skill isn't just about stopping yourself from doing something. The skill that is most strongly tied to math success is the ability to mentally filter out the junk, all the irrelevant information, and focus only on what you need to solve the problem. It's about mental filtering.
And you know what's almost as revealing? It's what didn't change this relationship. The researchers checked against all the usual factors. Did the child's age matter? Nope. Gender? Not at all. Even things like their family's socioeconomic status or what part of the world they were from, none of it changed the fundamental link. This appears to be a universal cognitive connection.
So, let's bring this all home. What does this all mean in the real world? What's the key takeaway here for parents, for teachers, for anyone trying to learn? Here it is, the bottom line. If we want to support a child's journey in math, this research points us in a very specific direction. It suggests we should focus on building that targeted ability to filter out mental noise. It's not just about general self-control. It's about helping them build true, deep focus.
This research hands us a vital clue. It strongly suggests that this one specific skill, the ability to filter out mental interference, is a key ingredient for succeeding in math. And that leaves us with a powerful, really important question, doesn't it? If the ability to focus is this crucial, how can we better help our kids train and strengthen that exact mental muscle? Thank you for joining us on The Explainer.